Thank you. So I'm Hugo. I'm one-third of Obvious. We are a trio of artists that create with artificial intelligence. The backstory behind our collective is that we are three friends from childhood. So I've known Gauthier and Pierre since basically high school. And our vision is to create with artificial intelligence, not only to create new aesthetics and to explore this new medium, but also to talk about the societal implication of the emergence of such technology. And so basically, the backstory is that during my studies, so I was studying artificial intelligence, and during my PhD, basically in 2016, I came across a type of algorithms called generative adversarial networks. It's basically the precursor of Midjourney or the image generator in ChatGPT. It's basically a way to create new images from a training based on thousands and thousands of images. And so when I came across this type of algorithms, we talked about it with Gauthier and Pierre, and we were really astonished by the potential of such algorithms. And also we were very surprised by the question that we had within the three of us, suggesting that we can create new stuff out of thousands of images, and it's really sparked us the question of creating art with such algorithms. And that's what we did. Actually, we did a first series of 11 portraits, one of which is called Edmond de Bellamy, which you can see here. And basically, long story short, we were called by Christie's to sell this artwork in auction in New York. And basically, Edmond de Bellamy was the first AI-generated artwork to be sold in a major auction house. It was in October 2018 in New York at Christie's, and it sold for nearly $500,000. So basically, our career started like that. And since then, we've been exploring the potential of using artificial intelligence to create art, and we've been fortunate enough to participate to many exhibitions and to be exhibited in different museums around the world, because those questions really are really of interest in the contemporary art world, but it's also because those questions basically it's a very important question for all of us. And so we all want to know what will be the impact of artificial intelligence on us. And that's why art is a really nice medium to talk about it. A little bit more about what we do. So basically, we are a trio, and we have this artistic production that we do. So we do a series each year, for instance, and then we show it around the different galleries that we have around the world. And then, because I have this scientific background, and we are always fascinated by basically taking inspiration from science and bringing it to the world through art. We created a research lab in collaboration with Sorbonne University. And since 2023, basically, the way we work is that we are able to invent our own algorithms and then use them to create art. So you can see us maybe as photographers that will be able to create their own lenses in some way. And we do that, and then we share our discoveries with the world through either our scientific papers, in scientific conferences, and with open source code, and also with our artistic creation. And also, we do a different type of collaboration with brands, with institutions, because we believe that in order to push the new artistic movement of AI art, we need also to get infused inside the culture. And so not everybody goes to galleries and museums. And so we believe it's important to showcase what we do to everyone. And for instance, 2 years ago, we did a collaboration with Alpine, which was the previous talk. So today, I want to talk to you about our latest project. So I'll talk to you about the fact that in 2016-17, when we discovered generative adversarial networks, we are very surprised by the fact that such a tool could exist, the fact of generating new images out of thin air, basically. And we were very surprised, and we wanted to share that with the world. And we believe that today, like 6 years or 7 years after that, we all have access to generative AI, and we can see that it's basically like normal now to generate new images. But back then, it was very surprising, and we had the vision that this technology would have a strong impact on the creative industry. And today, in the kind of the same fashion, we're interested in new research at the frontier between neuroscience and AI, where basically you can read the mind of people. So that seems like science fiction bullshit, but actually there are really strong progress in both fields that allow basically the premise of mind reading. And I will talk to you about this, and I will show you how we developed also such technology within our lab and artistically in order to showcase to you that, yeah, this technology is basically arriving. So how does it work? So basically, one of the most important papers around this technology was introduced in 2021. And basically, the way it works is that you take people and you put them inside MRI machines. So if you're not familiar with MRI, it's a scanning machine, so it's a medical tool that allows you to see inside the body. And with specific MRIs called functional MRIs, you can also study the brain, and basically you can study the activity of the brain while someone is doing a task within the MRI. And so they are using this type of MRI, and they are putting people inside this, and then they're making the people look at images. And so basically, the people are looking at images, and we are saving the brain activity data while they are looking at the images. And so we have correspondences, basically a training set between the images that are being seen and also the brain activity. And then the whole AI part comes here, and you try to train an algorithm, so an AI, you try to train it to only with the brain data, can you predict which image was seen. And these are the results that they can obtain. And so as you can see here, you have the image that was seen in the MRI, and here is the generated image solely based on the brain activity. So that's the result that really shocked us. The idea is it's not like a retrieval of image based on the data. It's actual generation only from the brain data. So you can basically read into the brain of these people, and when they are looking at an image, you can read their brain and actually generate the image that these people are seeing. So when we saw that, we were very shocked, and we had kind of the same feeling that we had in 2017. And so we thought, okay, this might be a little bit too big to be true. So we thought we should replicate those results because we are a little bit skeptical. So based on that, we did a few MRIs in an hospital in the north in Paris after all the patients are done. And basically, we did a few sessions, and we replicated the result of this paper, and we saw that it actually works. So as you can see here, these are the images that we saw inside the MRI. So because here, as artists, we also do the experiment on ourselves. So we did the experiment. This is what we saw. This is what the algorithm regenerated solely based on our brain data. Same for the landscape here. So based on that, we thought, okay, that's very impressive, that's very interesting, but as artists, you can't really be that much excited about this because with this technique, you can actually only recreate scene images. As an artist, it's not that interesting to just replicate something. It's just a very complicated method to recreate something. So it's not really useful to waste thousands of hours inside MRI and training the AI, et cetera, et cetera. So what we wanted to do, actually, the goal that we set ourselves is to basically go inside the MRI, close our eyes, and then imagine a new image based on anything. And so, for instance, here, a volcano. And we would go inside the MRI, close our eyes, imagine an image, and then is the algorithm capable of solely based on the brain activity associated to the imagination, being able to capture this imagination and create the associated images that we see in our brain. And so this was like our objective, and it's a pretty difficult one, especially because the way the method that I just presented you works is that you need to have access to both the brain activity and the associated image in order to train the AI. And here, when you imagine a volcano based on your imagination, this volcano, the picture of this volcano only exists in your brain. So you're not able to transfer it to your computer and then train the AI using this image. So for that, we had to basically devise a new protocol in order to make it work. So the way we did that is that we separated imagination into two different parts. What we called weak imagination, which will be imagination from memory, and then strong imagination, which will be imagining a totally new image. And so for the acquisition of data for training the AI, we only did the protocol with weak imagination. So we collected thousands of images, and then we memorized those images, and then we went inside MRI scanners and scanned our brain while we were imagining those recollected images. So you have to know that for this process, we did the process, the three of us, so we had to do tens of hours of MRI scan, the three of us. It's a big torture, and I could go on for hours on that subject, but it's a very interesting process, at least. But we did all of this process, and we got very positive results. So here you can see some of the images that we recollected and that we memorized and that we recollected inside the MRI scanner. And then based on that, we trained the AI to predict from the brain activity what was the imagined image. And these are the type of results that we got. And we were pretty satisfied with this result. And now, based on that, we can actually go back inside the MRI and imagine that volcano and create it as we originally wanted. So basically, this is the scientific protocol. So we did a scientific paper on that, and it's the scientific part. But then for the more artistic part, when we wanted to create a series of artworks out of this, we needed to basically define a subject and devise something to say artistically about using this method. And basically, we made a parallel with the surrealism movement. So that's why you can see the images here are kind of surrealist. It's because we narrowed it down to the subject of surrealism. Why? Basically, 100 years ago, in 1924, the surrealist movement was born in Paris, and mainly by André Breton and his friends. And basically what they did, the surrealists, is that they created a whole lot of exercises where they tried to shorten the gap between pure artistic intuition and the act of creation. So that was their approach, and they really wanted to shorten that gap. And we believe that our approach with the tools of today is really similar. We try to have the purest act of creation as possible and try to remove any filter from our pure imagination to the creation. So that's why we made a tribute to this movement, to this artistic movement of surrealism, and it was a very good opportunity as well because it was the 100th year of the movement. So here's the whole processes to create this artwork. So it's very complicated, but more than that, I think we could have created this type of visual in any different way. But what we believe is very important in our approach is that more than the artwork, we're talking about the fact that the mind reading techniques are actually being developed at the moment. So for instance, like, I don't know if you knew, but Apple deposited like a patent for putting something in the AirPods so that you can basically scan your brain and you can use your AirPods to, instead of using your phone to play, pause, or next song, you can basically think of play, pause, or next, and then it will switch automatically. So this type of device are really coming inside our society, and it may be a very good news, for instance, for disabled people. It's a very important technology to be developed for this type of disabilities. But also, if we think of something that really scans our brain and is able to read our mind, we definitely think of what about my mental privacy? Are my thoughts really mine now, or are we going to live in a society where everyone knows what everyone thinks about? It's a little bit weird, and I think it will create some problems. So definitely we need to think about that, and we really believe that in our case, we want to open the debate, and we think that art is a really good medium to open this debate and to approach the problem not only in a scientific way, but also in a more cultural and open way. And that's why we created this series. So thank you for your attention, and see you around.